All right, we're draining the pool. We're gonna get ready to clean this thing out, and we're gonna paint the pool red. That's right. We got back from New York, and we're here doing some more housework. And so I've been complaining that the pool looks like hell. Last couple years just keeps getting worse. It's got some rough patches in it. It needs to be replastered, and it's going to cost a couple $1,000 to have them sand and chip it all out and re-epoxy it. And I thought, why should I just do it blue like everybody does? Let's do something interesting. So we're going to epoxy the pool red. I have these birds. These birds are moving into my house. I don't know what they're doing. They're hanging out here. This is one of the many cats that just hangs out. This isn't my cat. I don't know whose cat this is. He just hangs out. I have cats that just hang out. The pool is almost empty, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it. They're gonna come back tomorrow and finish chiseling this thing out. They're gonna acid wash it. They're gonna sand it all down and get it ready for paint. And why do I have these birds? What do you want, bird? Why are you hanging out here? What do you want? There's like a whole bunch of birds here. Like I've never seen these birds before. And this cat just doesn't care. All right, got it emptied out. Starting to patch holes, get it sanded down. Dude, it's hot. It's hot out here, so it's gonna dry all by itself. It's baking in the sun. You see the color of it is not good. So whatever the color was, probably a light blue, it has turned into this patchy green. Not a good color. It's gonna be a different color soon. Okay, a little update. We've got their pool cleaned. They're gonna paint the whole deck. They're primering it, so they're getting it ready to paint. And so they're gonna repaint all of this. And then we're gonna work on getting the epoxy done for the pool. Talking to some painters about getting the TCB painted right there. As you step in, you'll see TCB. That's the idea anyway. Guys are working their ass off. So this dude looked like Judge Reinhold from Fast Times. He's waiting for Phoebe Cates to crawl out of my pool any minute now. Come to think of it, I'm waiting for Phoebe Cates to come crawling out of my pool. Any guy my age, I'm 48, any guy my age, a little older, will tell you that was the single hottest scene in all of movie history for guys our age. You can go rent any VHS copy. Well, what am I saying? Find a VHS copy of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Go to that section, and the tape has a wrinkle in it from all the times we rewound it and watched it again. Touching ourselves. 100%. Hottest thing ever. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just search for Fast Times at Ridgemont High pool scene. Get your tissues ready, guys. I'm telling you, I get a chubby when I hear the cars. Gosh darn wind keeps blowing trash. They're trying to clean it up as fast as they can while they're painting. It's so hot they're epoxying. So this stuff keeps blowing in. That's one of the things about working outside in Vegas. It's windy, it's hot. Looks good already with the primer. Oh man, I just got back and I'm looking at it, and they got this painted this morning, and this is not cool at all. This is way too dark. It's supposed to be red. See those chairs? Red. This is like burgundy. This is not gonna work. And I can see the staining from this leak that they didn't fix. And there's another leak there. And also this patching down here is all lumpy. This is not good. Yeah, man, I had to go out of town and run to Dallas, and then they came and painted it this morning. And I'm not happy with it. I'm bummed out, actually, pretty hard. Because this, in person, I don't know how it looks on video, but it's very dark and plum, crimson burgundy. I don't know what color you want to call it, but it's not red. It's a plum kind of, you can see it's dark as shit. See, this is red. This is red. Red. I wanted red, like blood red. When you put water in that, it's just gonna look like brown. That's what's gonna happen. And the thing is when you're going into cutting edge territory and you're doing things that nobody's ever done before, like look at this towel, right? Is that towel red or burgundy, right? We'll throw it on a red chair and you'll see that it's burgundy. Now, that's not red. That's not red. Paint matching. Mix a little bit of white, a little bit of red. It does make it a slightly opaque.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get it on the pavement. So, yeah, it does give it a little bit of a pink. The question is, how will it dry? Are you gonna try to dry it on the pavement or just on this box?
On the box.
Okay. All right, so we're doing the, hold on. All right, so they're doing a dry test. They're gonna let this stuff dry. I mean, that one's pink. That one's purpley. This one's a little bit, this is the most red, although it's still drying. So we'll check on it here in just a minute after it dries some more in the heat. We'll see how it came out. But I've been calling all over town. I called every paint shop in town about pool epoxy. It either comes in white or some form of blue or turquoise. And looking for tintable epoxies and acrylics, and not having any luck. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Now they have pool decking paint, not the same as, you know, and something else, a lot of the pool paints, they say, do not put in a hot tub. Like, it's gonna be in a hot tub. It's hot. It's 110 today, right now. Maybe not so much with the shade, but it's hot. So it's gonna be a hot tub no matter what. And I sure hope that we can get a better color than this color here. Oh boy, so this video is now a couple of weeks long. I've been holding these videos to try to wait till it's complete. Now, they came back and repainted the pool again today. They played around with the color, they added some white to it, and as you can see, I don't know if you can tell from this video, but it is still very burgundy. It is not red. And I've been talking to some people about epoxy coatings, and here's where it gets bad. If you don't, you can repaint this if you do it quickly enough, but because it's going to take us time, they have to sand this whole thing down and clean it with like acetone, and worst case scenario, they may have to grind the whole son of a bitch out and start completely from scratch. Absolute nightmare, which means the dude's probably not going to want to do it. Because if you just try to paint right over it, it's going to peel. Unbelievable. And really, I kind of wish I hadn't given him so much money already. The whole thing with the new light included was going to be about $3,000, and I already given him $2,000 of it, so I still owe him $1,000. So if I talk to him and he doesn't want to do it, then I'm stuck. Basically, the issue would be like if he said, "Okay, I'm not gonna sand it down and repaint it again for the other $1,000 you owe me. It's not worth it to me. I'm just gonna default, take the $2,000. I'm not coming back again." That might be his option, right? Because I would say, well, I'm not gonna pay the entire $3,000 again to redo this, because ultimately this was kind of your mistake. You picked out you got the wrong color. This is a bad situation because he didn't do anything wrong per se. The paint that he got was called red, but it was called red chili pepper, and apparently that's what red chili pepper is, and this didn't get researched, and it didn't come out like red. And I'm not gonna be happy with that color, because when I fill it up with water, I think it's gonna turn brown. That already looks kind of brown. It might look good in the sun on this camera, but at night it looks maroon, brown. So not happy. It looks red on camera right now, but that's because that's the way the camera adjusts. But at night, it doesn't look that way. And if I fill it up with water and use it for a while, we could do that. and then have it redone again. But then you're talking about a whole another $2,000-3,000 to do it again. And that would suck. Unless we repaint it by tomorrow, and that's just not going to be possible to get the color. It's a conundrum. All right, stay tuned. I don't know when the next video will be, but I'm saving these all up because I want it to be one video. So it might take me a month to put this video together. We'll see. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is the next day. Look at this thing. That mother effer is red. Oh boy, what a debacle. So this is what happened. We weren't happy with the color still. And I thought to myself, okay, this is just epoxy, right? It's epoxy. So I hit up the dude that did the epoxy floors in my garage, who's in LA, a guy named Fred. And I said, dude, what's the difference between the pool epoxy and the stuff you put in the garage? He goes, not a lot, really. You know, it just has to have certain properties, inhibitors for UV protection, etc. And I said, can you get me some bright red epoxy paint for my pool? Well, just so happens my buddy Eric was driving from LA back to Vegas that night. He said, you know, I called Eric and he goes, hey man, I'm leaving at like 7, 8 o'clock. I'll be there about midnight. So I called Fred back. I go, dude, can you get this stuff over to Eric's house ASAP? He did. He went and got 2 gallons of it, took it over to Eric's. Eric put it in a car, drove it back. At midnight, I met him, got it, put it here. The guys came here early in the morning in the AM when it was cool, prepped the pool, and as you could see, they repainted it, and it is bright mother effing red. Red, 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 red. It is really red this time. Not burgundy, not crimson, not maroon. It is red. Now, it does seem a slight tinge orangish red like tomato soup, but that's cool. It's not gonna look orange, but at least it's red. So the next bit is to get our logo thing painted on there and some other trim and get it put back together and fill this bitch up and go for a red swim. Okay, I started painting the steps black. I just went down there and did it myself. I taped off this little edge here, painted this black, and I'm gonna let it dry, then I'll peel the tape off. And I had to do this in a way that I could still get out. So, you know, I could step over this step. So I did that in the sides and then left the middle and then did this from up here. So when this all dries, I'll jump back down and then I'll tape off the areas. I should have just taped it all off and painted myself out, but I didn't want to risk it, and it was just, you know, so I decided to do it this way. Looks a little goofy at first, but I think the black steps was a good idea. It's going to look cool. And you know what? I'm kind of considering not doing the logo maybe now, the TCB, because I don't know, if I do, it's going to have to be really small, because see where the dip is over there? So like it would have to be, you know, right in this area. It's going to be maybe 4 feet, maybe 5 feet at tops, you know. It's going to be kind of small, and it's going to be cockeyed. So I'm thinking about not doing it because I think it's going to look goofy. There's plenty of other places to do cool stuff. I think just the pool being red, you know, it's not a traditional shape. If it was square and it's going to be cockeyed, I'm kind of talking myself out of it. I'm thinking just the red and the black is all I'm going to need. Somebody suggested doing black around the rim, but I'll tell you why I'm not going to do that. You get a lot of this calcium and things building up, and you'll end up with like a white crusty shit all around the edge. And I don't want to do that with the black. It'll make it look worse. So I'm just going to leave it red, I think. I think the black steps are going to be cool enough. It'll help indicate, you know, it's going to look, it's black and red. What more could you ask for, folks? All right, it's the next day again. And I came out here last night when it was nice and cool and tried to look at the paint, peel the tape off, and to my horror, the paint was peeling right off. Yep, this stuff's not, well, I didn't prepare the surface and everything. Like, look at this, it just peeled right off like tape. Look at that. Look. Right? So over here, when I peeled the tape off of this shit all just peeled off. Look at it. Look at that. Actually, if I'm lucky, I could probably peel all this off. So I don't know if it's gonna work at all. I'm gonna have to sand it down and prepare it with some alcohol, which is what I should have done. But I thought maybe it was still, you know, tacky enough I could paint on it. It's not, which means I might not be able to do the logo. I have been sanding the pool. Oh my God. Bro, I am covered. Yeah, I was using this contraption here, and yeah, I've been sanding all this shit off. Ew, that was yeah, I need a shower. I'm not a happy guy. All right, I just hand painted the stairs. They're not perfect. A little bit sloppy. That one over there is really sloppy. I might be able to touch it up. It's gonna probably take a couple days. I don't know how to fill this up. I'm gonna start running water in it. I can't seem to keep it clean for even a minute, but this stuff isn't even dry yet, but the water's not gonna get up to there. By the time the water gets anywhere near these steps, that'll be super dry. And after all the sanding and work I did on it, it should be all right. We still have to prime the filters and pump because that was all taken apart. There's a lot of stuff that we're gonna have to do, but I figure if I just get a couple of feet of water in there, you know, because I have a well, I'm filtering it. We have like, I think it's a 5,000 gallon tank. So this is probably a 10,000 gallon pool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run it for a while and then I'm gonna turn it off so that the tank can refill itself. Because I don't know what would happen if I ran the tank dry. Well, I know what would happen. It would start sucking air. So even though we have a pretty big tank, I think I'm gonna have to do it in stages. Wife rustled me out of bed early this morning to tell me that there wasn't any water. There's no water coming out of the faucet. So yeah, I'd been filling the pool up overnight, got almost full. We ran the tank dry. We ran out of water. Yep. We ran out of water. And look how dirty this shit is. That tank was filthy. I mean, I'm gonna have to shock this, chemically treat it. The water's back on. Pressure's back up. .39 PSI, It's not the best. But the pump is running. Yeah. Shit. It's not like empty, but it shouldn't echo. It was full last night. It's filling. Water's going in. It's gonna take a while. I don't know if how well this can see at night in the dark. Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago when we first filled this thing up, and like it worked, but you know what it is that I was using that water filter on the end of the hose, and it was really restricting the water flow. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take that water filter off. Oh yeah, and it was flowing after that. I should have left the filter on, because not only did it help filter the crap out of the water, but it restricted the flow, which means that it went much slower and it didn't deplete the thing. See, this hose actually is hooked up to a pipe that's coming straight out of that pump. It's not being cleaned or filtered. Now, we have a huge water filter and we're gonna put chemicals in the water. So, you know, the water coming straight out of the ground has a lot of, you know, it's not clean. It's coming straight. And don't, listen, you're gonna make fun of how hairy I am. I know I'm hairy. You're gonna see me in the pool later. I'm gonna be in the pool when we clean it, right? I don't take my shirt off often. I know, listen, people think I'm Asian. I'm not Asian, because I have squinty eyes and I Fu Manchu. I'm Scottish.
and I'm hairy. This is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna shock the pool. I'm gonna put algicide in the pool. We're gonna be running the filter, and you know, the water coming straight out of the earth is not clean. It's got minerals in it. It's been in that tank, probably has algae in it. Might have other things, but until I get it above the level where it's into the drain, I can't turn on the pump. Yeah, I can't operate the pump until it's above the intake here. Right? So it's like, it's so dirty. Wow. It's gross. I know what you're thinking, oh wow, you were drinking that water. You got to understand, the water goes through multiple filtration processes before it ever gets to our lips. We have a huge saltwater system that it first goes through, or not saltwater, but it's a salt filtering system. And then it goes through some additional filters. And then the water that we take out of the tap, we never actually drink the tap water. We run that through an additional zero water filter system, the water that we use for coffee, tea, and drinking and things. But the water we shower in, I mean, it's clean. You know, it's like 150 parts per million, which is pretty good when you consider city water is about 250, 300. So anyway, I just gotta wait for that tank to fill back up. It does it a little slower than I thought. Okay, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I came out here to check it. This thing is full. Wow. That thing puts out some serious water. Now apparently, like, I don't know what happened. And look at all the, I don't know what this stuff is, but the water is dirty. The water coming out of the ground is dirty, and plus there's probably algae growing in here. I don't know what this white stuff is in here. It's pretty gross. I mean, listen, the water coming out of the well, out of the earth, from 200 feet, it's not clean. I'm not gonna lie, it's not clean. I mean, we go through multiple filtration systems. You know, this pump's not even running. Like, it's full in only a few hours. Oh, that's been about 6 hours. So that tank filled up in like 6 hours. See, every single place that we have water, let me show you, hold on, let me go in this building. This is my spare building. Now this is one of our water softeners, right? Now this one I had to change this board out because it failed, okay? But you have these tanks, right? You have you probably can't see it because it's dark. But you have this tank that's full of these plastic beads. The water, when I run the water, like if I flush this toilet here, so this thing will show water flow. So the water will go through the tank. Then what happens is there's you can't see it in here. If I can turn on this light, the light will come on. Anyway, the water goes through this filtration system and it cleans out all that crud, right? Then this thing washes itself out every day. Now you'll see, like, this is a water cooler with filters. So the water that comes out of the tap, right? Oh, there's a little air in it from where it ran out earlier. So if I take a cup, for instance, fill the cup up with water, turn this light on here. I'm doing this one-handed, so it's kind of... So this meter will show you the parts per million, the TDS meter. So 155 parts per million is actually really, really good for basically tap water, okay? So that's filtered out, but I filter it again. I use these zero water filters. So if I were to, I don't want to waste this filtered water. But the reason it's called zero is because it gets it as close to zero if possible. This filter's a little bad, so it's showing 40, 39. So this filter's kind of used. Now we go through a lot of those filters because, you know, the water coming out of the ground is very dirty. So all the water that we drink goes through a filtration system. We have these water coolers just like this that have double filters. So first it's filtered through the saltwater system that gets all the dissolved solids. That's what the TDS means, total dissolved solids. And then this will further take it out. Now, I know that there are much better water filtration systems, reverse osmosis and carbon filter, all kinds of things, but this is what we've been using in this house since like the 60s, I think. I don't know. So what I do when I'm filling up the hot tub or the pool is I attach one of these inline water filters. Now this is supposed to do, I think it says like 5 or 10,000 gallons, which should do the pool. It also restricts the water flow quite a bit. Now this is what I was using, and then I got impatient. I should have kept using these. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn the water back on. The thing is, we have an autofill. This autofill, which is basically a toilet valve. It's literally the same thing goes in a toilet, okay? That will automatically keep running until the pool is full. You can see how dirty this water is, but I'm gonna leave this thing going here. And once we get the water high enough, which isn't gonna take long, but once we get it up, well, it's gonna take a while. It's got another foot or more to go. Once we get it to the, wow, look at how dirty there's dirt in there. Look at that, can you see that? And that's because we got to the bottom of that well, right? And then that's why it was so dirty. The reason it's so dirty is because we were sucking all the crud that had built up on the bottom. Like, for instance, they say that the tanks that are in New York City on top of the buildings have some of the cleanest water because all the crud settles to the bottom and they siphon from like the middle or something like that. But so all this crud you're seeing, this is years, probably years and years of crud from the well. Not only algae, but dirt, minerals, all these things. And so it's going to play havoc on my filter. Now this will clean up because as soon as I start running the pump, right? God damn it, look at that. Look at the filth coming out of there. Unbelievable. It's just like brown. This is totally clean. I don't have a way to control that. But the filtration system over here, we just put 4 brand new, inside this canister is 4 cartridges. I'm gonna go ahead and order 4 more. These are washable, but these are gonna get ruined. So I'm gonna go ahead and order 4 more of those so we have them on hand. I'm pretty sure they changed them, because why is the box there? Has that got the old ones in it? Let's see. Oh yeah. So like these were, like a year old. Look at those. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and order some more of those, because I guarantee you, by the time we filter all this out, those are gonna be ruined. So, looks like it's clearing up. The water's clearing up now. That was you don't want to suck out of the bottom of the tank. So I've learned some valuable lessons here. All right, if you're filling up a pool from a well, make sure you're not pulling more water out than you can use, and you must use inline filters to do it. You have to. You go through 3 or 4 of these if you have to. Because what screwed me up was my impatience. This was taking too long. The amount of water that comes out of this hose without that filter on it is double or triple. Because that particular line, just like my sprinklers, comes directly from that pump over there. The pump goes directly here. No filtration, nothing. And you're getting the full force of the water. And that's what runs to my sprinkler system here. There's a valve over there that before it even goes into the house, it's diverted to the sprinklers and to these faucets, right? Then it goes into the house, and then it goes into our main saltwater treatment system, which is double the size of that one in that other building. We have 2 of them, actually. There's one over there, and then we have another one in the bathroom that feeds the bathroom. So the water coming out is pretty good. It doesn't look like this. It doesn't stink. This is water straight out of the earth. So this water came straight out of the ground from 200 feet. And this is what you get out of the earth. It's nasty shit, folks. So it's gonna take a couple days to filter this and shock it. I'll just have to wait. It's already gone up like an inch since we've been sitting here, unless I'm imagining things. Oh my God. All right, it's like 8, 9 o'clock. So it's taken more than 24 hours to fill this thing. Of course, it stopped for a period as we ran out of water. And it looked like a swamp. It looks terrible. That's apparently what's coming out of the earth that's in my tank, as we talked about earlier. So finally, had a lot of trouble with the filter, getting the filter sealed, put, the ring around it. I had to clean it. I got some petroleum jelly I used to seal it. I need to probably just replace that whole filter system. But for now, it's filtering. So now that the water is flowing,
See how dirty it is. It's just funky. So I'm going to do another video about this pool, of kind of a shortened version. This is one that is for, you know, my fans who watch my channel. And I think this is going to clear up in about a day or so. I've got the filter on full blast on manual, letting it run. I put some shock in there, some liquid chlorine, some clarifier. It just needs to mix, right? So, you know, the jets are pushing hard. They got the air out of the system. I can already see it clearing up just a tiny bit. I know that sounds crazy, but in this little area, I can tell. So once it filters, it'll pull all those solids out, and then it'll start getting the cloudiness out. I think about 2 days from now, it'll be crystal clear. I'm not gonna post this video until the whole pool is done, until it's perfect. So this video has been a couple of weeks in the making. When this is done, this light will go all the way through here, and it won't look like a bowl of diarrhea. It'll look nice and bright and red. One of the things I'm gonna do is, once it's clear, I'm gonna scrub the whole pool by hand to get any kind of gunk off of there and get it, because I'm sure stuff has settled. So I'm gonna go through with a brush and a broom, and I'm just gonna swim around, and I'm just gonna clean this thing. It's only 5 feet deep, guys. So I'm gonna clean the whole pool. It's gonna take a couple of days. Today's like Tuesday. By the time the weekend comes, I'm positive it'll be crystal clear. Because I've done this before. I had it where it was totally green and funky. It was full of leaves and stuff, and it was bad. I'd gone away for a week or two, come back, and it was just trashed. And I shocked it and cleaned it, and a couple days later, it was crystal clear. It's a real small pool. It's got I bought the biggest pump I could put on here. It's got an oversized pump. So we'll check on it tomorrow morning and see if it's any better, see if it's any clearer. And I'll be swimming in this thing soon, babes. All right, it's the next morning, and here it is, the red pool. The water is crystal clear, just as I predicted. There's some debris, leaves in there. I kept finding this blue stuff at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, and I figured out what it is. We had put up these blue moving blankets, and they're shedding. They're coming apart. The sun has murdered them. We put these blankets up because when they were doing the paint, I didn't want any leaves or anything to blow in. So we cobbled this together trying to block this, right? And the sun just murdered these blankets, and all this blue stuff keeps blowing into the pool. I thought it was the paint peeling. I thought my paint, because it's the same color, right? No, so I've got to take these down as soon as possible and throw them away. They got to go right into a trash can. Because look, I mean, even they're just turning into pulp, right? Anyway, the whole saga took like 2 weeks, and that was my fault because we dilly-dallied. But now that the water's nice and clear, you know, I shocked it. It's been running through the filter. Filter did its job, took all the cloudiness out. Water's crystal clear. You could see straight to the bottom perfectly. So the water is perfect, and the filter's doing its job, which means it needs to be cleaned already. I want to get a few more beauty shots of it tonight, and I think, you know, we're done, and I'm going to go swimming in it today. It is ready to rock and roll. I can't wait. I'm going to get it all nice and clean, and I'm just really happy with it. I think we're going to start a trend. I think that people are going to want to do this. There's only a couple of colors you can do with the pool. You can only do blue, white, or red. That's my feelings on it, because if you tried to do any color that might make it look green, like if you tried to do yellow or something like that, it would make it look green. You don't want to do green, obviously, because green would be green. And then green pool wouldn't be good. That's bad. And then if you tried to do purple would just end up looking blue with the lights, in my opinion, which would still be fine. Purple would be great. So I think red or purple or white are, other than blue, are your only choices. Okay, I'm in the pool. Decided to get in the pool. Was cleaning the pool. This epoxy is slick as snot. Like, you can't really walk on it. I'm just sliding down. Oof. The pool's only like 5 feet deep. So, I was cleaning it. I was out here brushing it with the brush. I don't know if this epoxy is gonna actually like if it's just coated, you know, like it's got like maybe a slimy, not slimy, but a slick layer that's gonna wash off. I think so. You know, could be just dust, a little bit of a glazing from drying, you know, and maybe that will dissipate. But like it is slick. So I recommend, and I don't know if you could texture it because it's self-leveling, you know, in the heat it self-levels. So like, but trying to walk on this stuff, like forget it. It is like, you have to just swim. I mean, you can stand up on it, but like where the slope is here, forget it. It is slick as snot. I mean, if you were making a slide or something, it'd be perfect. But like even whoa, whoa, like even trying to walk along the edge where the slope is here, forget it. It's slick as shit. I fell down yesterday. Yeah, I fell down. I was trying to, when I was putting the pole in, I stepped up on the steps, you know, and the steps are also epoxied, so it's like, it's very slick. Now, when I painted these, I purposefully put in I don't know if you could tell, but I put in like I brushed it thick and left it. I wanted it to be textured. See these textures? So you want to do that. You don't want it if you're, and that's hard to do if you're using a roller, right? This was done with a brush, so I put these brush strokes in there purposefully to add grip, because I'm telling you, you need grip. But the pool is nice and clear. There's still some particulate in the water that I see, but that's gonna get filtered out. I'm really enjoying it so far. I gotta get rid of the blankets. They're blowing stuff in there. It's not too windy today, but it is 100 and something. It's been 110 to 115 every day here in Vegas. And so let me, it's slippery. But I am enjoying the red pool. The red pool is super cool. Like, I'm already kind of used to it. It doesn't seem weird to me, but I'm surrounded by red all the time. You know, the interior of my house is red. My cars are red. My chairs are red. I like, you know, I'm red. So I'm used to being, I'm used to seeing the color red. I just like it. It's a power color. People ask me like, what's your thing with red and black? I'm like, I don't know. It's just a good looking contrast. I've always loved it. Best thing I can explain is that, you know, my love of cars. I'm into the A-Team and Knight Rider and all those kind of things. And you'll notice red is a color that's always used when they're trying to attract you to something. You look at McDonald's, you look at Chick-fil-A, you look at KFC, whatever. It's like red, white, black, you know, these colors. Usually you see red and yellow when food is concerned, but I'm not a big fan of yellow. Anyway, I think this is a cool thing. I mean, maybe you think it's weird, but I mean, I like to do things that are a little different. I'm not the first person to make a red pool, but I'm really digging it. I think it's gonna go over. I don't know, tell me in the comments what you think. Right, here's the nighttime shots of the pool with the lights on. Everybody wants to see what the lights look like. And people ask me what color lights I'm gonna put in. You can only put white light in the pool because the pool's red. So if you look at it, that's the only way it's going to work. If you put red light, I mean, you could put red light in there, but I don't think it would make a difference. I do notice that it kind of fades as it gets darker. I need another light here, but that's not possible. But it's good enough for at night. It looks great. So here it is. This is what it looks like. And thanks for watching the video. We're going to do another video of the pool and talk about exactly how we did it in a truncated version. If anybody else wants to epoxy their pools. I like the way the black steps are accented at night because, in my opinion, they would have been invisible with the red, and I wanted you to be able to clearly see them. So that's how it works. Thanks for watching.